let's jump into AI music. It seems like everywhere you turn these days, AI is popping up, and music is no exception. Today we'll be taking a deep dive into how AI is changing how we make music, experience music, and even preserve music.
You got it. We're going to be talking about some pretty amazing stuff, but also, there are some serious ethical questions that come up when you start talking about AI and music.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, think about it. We could potentially be listening to, like, brand new albums from artists who passed away decades ago.
Exactly, and it's crazy to think about. But before we get too far into the ethical side of things, I think it's good to take a step back and just break down how AI is actually making music. It used to be that AI could only compose these really basic, simple tunes. But now it's creating stuff that, honestly, it's almost impossible to tell apart from human-made music.
It's true. It's incredible how realistic it's gotten. So how does it actually work?
Well, it all comes down to machine learning.
Okay, now that's a term we hear a lot. But what's it actually mean in the context of music?
So imagine you feed an AI like every single song by Ella Fitzgerald.
Okay, tons of data.
Right. And the AI analyzes all of it. The notes, the rhythms, even, like the really subtle nuances in her voice. And over time, the AI starts to understand the patterns that make Ella Fitzgerald's music so unique.
So it's not just copying notes. It's like learning the essence of a specific style.
That's exactly it.
Wow.
And then you've got these things called GANs, which stands for Generative Adversarial Networks.
GANs.
Yeah, so picture this. It's like a musical sparring match. You have one AI trying to compose something new, and then another AI acting like a judge, basically saying, nope, that doesn't sound like Ella Fitzgerald. And they go back and forth until that music sounds authentic, even though it's totally original.
It's wild. But wait, you're telling me that AI can write lyrics that actually make sense? How does that work?
Yeah, that's where NLP comes in, natural language processing.
NLP, right.
So NLP helps the AI to understand language and manipulate it, so it can craft lyrics that match the emotions of the music, just like a human songwriter would do. It's not just throwing random words together. There's real thought going into it.
It's mind-blowing, honestly. But it also, I don't know, makes me wonder, like with all this power, isn't there a risk that someone could use this technology to do something, I don't know, unethical? Like what's to stop someone from just creating like a new Beatles album and releasing it without anyone's permission?
That's a huge concern. And that's where we get into the whole ethical debate around AI music. It's like walking a tightrope between incredible possibilities and some pretty serious potential pitfalls.
Yeah, it makes you think, and this isn't all just hypothetical, right? This
Yeah.
technology is actually being used in real life and sometimes in very personal ways.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just recently there was this news story about AI being used to recreate the voice of a musician who had passed away for his daughter's wedding.
Oh.
It was so touching, It allowed his daughter to have a part of him there on her special day, even though, he wasn't physically present.
That's amazing and kind of heartbreaking at the same time. I mean,
Yeah.
It really makes you think about what these artists would think, if they knew their voices could be used like that.
Right, and I think this is something we need to think about on a global scale because this isn't just one country's issue. Every country has its musical traditions and heritage, so the impact of AI and music, it really has far-reaching implications for, everyone.
It's almost like we're stepping into this unknown territory where technology is like blurring the lines between life and death, at least when it comes to art and music. It's hard to know how to even like begin to think about the ethical implications of all of this.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. There's so many different sides to this. I mean, on the one hand, you've got this amazing chance to preserve, even share, like these cultural legacies in a way that we couldn't before. Think about, all those folk songs, traditional music, even just like family lullabies, passed down through generations. AI could let us capture that, preserve those musical treasures for future generations.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful thought. But I don't know, there's this feeling of unease that I can't shake.
Yeah.
Like, where's the line between, honoring someone's memory and, I don't know, maybe exploiting their work for profit?
That's such a crucial point. Imagine, a record label, they release this new album from like a legendary artist who, died years ago, and it's all AI generated. Would fans feel like, I don't know, tricked? Would it kind of cheapen the artist's original work? These are questions that like we don't have easy answers for.
And it's not just about the artists who have passed away, right? It's also, what about living artists? If anyone can just create music that sounds exactly like their favorite musician, does it devalue the work of actual, human creators?
Yeah, and musician Athira Alamoudi, whose insights on this are really important, they've talked about this worry. They're concerned that AI could become a crutch, basically, for lazy artists, people who, they might not want to put in the work of songwriting, and instead they just let AI generate these generic tracks.
So it's not just about preserving the past. It's also about shaping the future of music itself, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does it even mean to be a musician in a world where AI can seemingly do it all?
It's a question that we're all going to have to grapple with, and in pretty profound ways, I think. But it's not all, doom and gloom. There's also like a more optimistic way of looking at this. Noor Al-Faraj, who is a data AI and automation expert over at IBM, they offer a more hopeful perspective.
Oh, I could definitely use a dose of optimism right now, so tell me more.
Well, so Al-Faraj sees AI as this tool, right? But a tool that could actually push musical boundaries. It could help us create entirely new genres and sounds that like we haven't even imagined yet.
Now that's exciting. It's like AI is this incredible new instrument, and we're just starting to figure out like all the cool things it can do.
Yeah, exactly. It could open up this whole new world of sonic possibilities, allowing musicians to experiment and collaborate in ways that just weren't possible before. Like imagine a musician in like a small town somewhere, and they suddenly have access to tools that let them create like orchestral arrangements or produce a high quality music video. I mean, the creative potential it's just huge.
It really is.
Yeah.
But even with all that amazing potential, we still have to like come back to these ethical concerns, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. And Al-Faraj acknowledges the risks, specifically like accidental plagiarism, and then also the whole question of ownership when it comes to AI generated music. If an AI creates this hit song, who owns the copyright? Is it the person who used the AI software,
Yeah.
the company that developed it? We're really just starting to deal with these legal and ethical questions.
It feels like we're at a crossroads. On the one hand, there's this incredible potential for innovation and preservation in music, but on the other hand, there's these complex ethical dilemmas that we just can't ignore.
It's a balancing act, no doubt, and it's a conversation that really needs to involve like everyone, musicians, technologists, legal experts, music lovers like you.
So, for our listeners who are maybe feeling a little, I don't know, overwhelmed by all of this, what's the takeaway? Is there a way to embrace these possibilities of AI music without, losing the things that make music so meaningful and special?
I think the key is to remember that AI should be a tool. It should be used to enhance human creativity, not to replace it. It's about figuring out how to use AI in music responsibly and ethically, and always keeping in mind that human element that gives music its soul.
So it's not about AI versus humans. It's about AI and humans working together to create something new, something amazing.
Exactly. And who knows what incredible sounds and musical experiences are out there, just waiting for us to discover them as this technology keeps evolving.
I'm feeling a lot more optimistic after hearing that. This has been a deep dive in every sense of the word. We've gone into the technical side of AI music, wrestled with these tough ethical questions, and even caught a glimpse of what the future of music might look like. So as we wrap up this deep dive into AI music, I'm left with this feeling of like awe, but also a little bit of nervousness. Like it feels like we're right on the edge of something huge, something revolutionary, but we really need to be careful as we move forward.
I think that's a good way to look at it. AI music, it could totally change the way we create music, how we experience music, even how we preserve music. But we got to remember, like at the end of the day, technology, it's a tool, right? And any tool can be used for good or for bad.
Yeah, you're right. It feels like a really important moment in music history. We have this chance to really shape what the future of music looks like and to make sure that AI is making music better, not making it worse.
Exactly. And that's a responsibility that falls on all of us, musicians, the people who are developing this technology, policymakers, and yeah, even the listeners. We got to be having these conversations about the ethics of AI music and come up with some guidelines, some rules for how it should be used.
Yeah, for sure. But in the middle of all this, all these ethical questions, I don't want to forget about like the amazing stuff that AI can do. Imagine, being able to hear your grandparents' lullaby, even though they're not around anymore. That's the kind of power AI has, and it's really moving.
It is, and beyond just, those personal memories, AI could help us to protect like entire musical traditions that might be disappearing. Think about all the amazing folk music from all over the world. AI could help us to document that, preserve it, even help to bring it back to life, so it can be passed on to future generations.
Oh, it's like we're not just talking about music anymore. We're talking about like our culture, our identity, like what it means to be human.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Music's always been this powerful way for humans to express themselves and connect with each other. And now that AI is coming into the picture, it's more important than ever to make sure that music stays a reflection of who we are, of our shared humanity.
So for our listeners who are, they're ready to jump into this new world of AI music, what what should they be thinking about?
I'd say approach it with curiosity, with a critical eye and an open mind. Be aware of the ethical stuff, ask questions, and join those conversations that are happening about how AI should be used in music. And most importantly, keep listening to music, keep exploring it, and keep that human heart of music beating strong.
Well said. And with that, I think it's time to bring our deep dive into AI music to a close. I hope this has been an interesting and thought-provoking journey for all of you.
It definitely has been for me.
And remember, the future of music is being written right now, and we all get to play a part in shaping it. As AI's role in music grows, let's make sure that it's a force for good, that it respects artistic integrity and ownership and the very heart of human creativity. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.